Um, okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you all for taking out this time to be here, to invest in yourself and to be here and learn more about the faster EFT process. Is there anyone that's here that is not familiar with this work at all? You can just mute yourself and let me know. Anyone who doesn't know anything about the process at all. Can you mute yourself and talk, or you still don't have audio, Val?
Yeah, no, I've got audio now.
Oh, well done. You figured it out. Awesome. Okay, so can I ask what you were curious about, what got you interested?
Lee recommended it to me. She said it, I might find it interesting.
And how much did Lee tell you about it?
Only something about drumming.
Drumming? Okay. Yeah. Oh, we'll have to do a bit of that as well tonight. We'll try and fit that in as well. That sounds like fun. So for people who do know about faster EFT and the Dft tapping technique, I'll just explain very briefly to Val. So faster EFT is an evolution of EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. And before emotional freedom technique, there were many, many other forms of tapping. So it's known as tapping because that's basically what people know. So most people call it tapping, and there's various forms of tapping. So the faster EFT process is, I prefer it because it's very simple and easy to use, okay? And all you have to do is tap on 5 points, that's all. And what it does when you do the tapping, and that's just one way of what we call defractionation. So what happens is you have a problem, you have something that's bothering you, upsetting you, something that you're worried about, thinking about or feeling, or you have a sensation in your body. What tends to happen is we go into like a little hypnotic trance about that problem, okay? And then what happens is we tend to stay stuck in that trance for a while. And I think everyone can relate to that. You know, like I give the example of when I used to feel sad, I would feel really sad for days. So I'd be in this hypnotic trance of that sadness. And so what the tapping will help you to do, and it's got great research behind it now to show that it's the fastest way to reduce cortisol levels in the body, the stress hormones in the body, okay? So that's really a very simple way of explaining it. Now, the faster EFT process is it's a thinking system. It addresses the way that we think, which is often what's causing the problem, okay? And so and the faster EFT belief is that we're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us, but we're just acting in the way that we are because we have all this information that's there for us to access in our brain that causes that sadness or the fear or the anxiety or whatever it is. Okay, does that make sense? And what I'll get you to do, and what I've been doing as people have been registering, is getting them to watch a couple of videos to start with, so that they can get a little basic understanding of the process before they come along. But you can do that after if you like. And you'll get a bit more of an understanding of it, okay? Do you have any questions about it? Anything that you're curious about?
No, not really.
All right, okay. Now, So before we start, I'm Lolita and I'm a self-empowerment coach. I've been working with Fast Dft for about 5 years now because it had a profound effect on my life. I had chronic illnesses, various ones, lupus, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I was even thought I may have Lyme disease for a while. I had insomnia, chemical sensitivities, food sensitivities, allergies, a whole host of, I'm just going to mute everyone, it's very noisy out there. Okay, so a whole host of, illnesses and chronic pain, 24/7 chronic pain. So I was out searching for something to help me. I wasn't getting very far on medication and, having surgeries and tests done and injections into my spine and 101 different things. I wasn't really having much luck. So I went out searching myself, for a solution. And EFT was one of the things that I came across, but I just found it quite difficult to use because, I was in pain 24/7 and I couldn't bear to be touched. I couldn't hug anybody. So tapping was quite challenging for me to use, and nobody explained to me then that you actually don't even have to tap to get a change. And I'll explain that to you as we go. So then I came across Faster EFT and I discovered, the real cause of my suffering, why I had the illness, which is what I spoke about this morning on this interview. So what happens is if you have had many significant events in your life that caused you a lot of hurt, caused you a lot of emotional pain, physical pain, even, if you're exposed to chemicals and environmental toxins and things like that, from the womb, it starts from the womb onwards. So if there's things going on while you're in your mother's, and there's some wonderful research coming out, and one of my very, very favourite mentors, he's writing a book at the moment about stress in the womb and the effects on the adult and effects on children as well. So if you're in the womb, and as he talks about, his mother was in the Holocaust, she was in the war, and all these babies were born during that period of time that were just crying all the time, and the doctors just didn't know what was happening. And so it has a profound effect on the child who's in the womb. And then you're born into an environment. And if there's things that's happening in the environment, like, there's domestic violence, there's a parent with a mental illness, there is somebody who's in jail, if there's, neglect, severe emotional, physical neglect, all those things are going to have an impact on you. And what happens with all that information, the brain records it. The brain records it all and it files it away. And then what I discovered when I used Faster EFT to help with my problem is it was all about the memories that I had, that my brain had recorded, and how I was holding those memories that was creating all these illnesses in me. Now that's a very different way to understand problems. I know it's very, not many people talk about things like that. And when I spoke this morning about the ACE study, which is the Adverse Childhood Experience Study, a lot of people don't know about that study, and yet it was the largest study ever to be held in the world for the longest period of time with the most people. And the results were profound. The results were absolutely incredible. So all the people that that have a chronic illness, chronic pain, mental illness, addictions, all these people will score very high in the ACE study. They'll tick a lot of those significant events that happened in their life. You know, and when I discovered that, I was actually quite angry. I was quite angry that none of my health practitioners knew about this study, because that should be frontline information that our doctors know and our psychiatrists and psychologists know. And I don't know why they don't know, but there's a huge gap in the system. And I've tried to do what I can to remedy that. I've spoken to politicians, I've spoken to doctors, I've spoken to a lot of people about it. So but the problem is that you can know about the ACE study, you can understand that, you know, I have this problem, I have this mental illness, I have this addiction because you know, and I'm an addiction counsellor. I've worked in mental health and drug and alcohol before I started doing this work. So I know what people struggle with. And what I found was that there's not one person that I saw who suffered from an addiction or mental illness that hadn't had a lot of trauma in their lives. They hadn't experienced a lot of trauma in their life. So it's okay to know that information, but you also then need a way to be able to help that person. And that's what I discovered that Faster EFT does. You know, it addresses those traumas, it addresses the hurts, it addresses the pain and the suffering, you know, that you have gone through. And not just childhood, because the reason why I got so sick, it wasn't just my childhood, it was the accumulative effect. It was ongoing stresses, it was ongoing traumas that contributed to finally something that's changing in my brain. And, you know, I spent 11 years bedridden, 17 years in chronic pain, and 11 of those I spent shuffling from my bed to the bathroom and back. And I was in quarantine for 11 years, basically. So I'm doing this really easy at the moment, what's going on now, because I did that for 11 years. My brain knows that really well. So that's what brought me to Faster EFT, and that's why I'm passionate about it, and that's why I love sharing it, because we're all facing trauma at the moment with what's happening. Would everybody agree? Yes? Yep. Every single human being on the planet at the moment is going through stress and trauma. Okay? And it saddens me. It really saddens me deeply, because many, many, many people are going to come out of this keeping that trauma, you know, because the brain records it and the body also holds on to it. So my goal for doing these workshops has been to equip people with a tool, with a technique that they can use anywhere. It's so simple to use. You can teach a 4-year-old child to use it, you know. And I'm on the international team called Emotional Ed, and we're releasing a pilot program going into schools. Hopefully, you know, later on this year. We've just putting registrations out. If you know anybody that's a teacher or works in the school system, we've even got some homeschool families that have registered to do the course. And what that is they'll be learning the techniques themselves and using it on themselves. And then when they get confident and we'll show them how they can help the children in the classroom, then they'll take it into the classroom and help the children as well. So I'm telling you that because that's how simple and easy it is. But you've got to use it. You know, it's like you use your toothbrush every day. You need to use this tapping every day. And when I first started, it had such a profound effect on me. I had no more pain in my body, not one single bit of pain in my body that I had had for 17 years, 24/7. There's none, and I haven't had it since. And it's been 5 years, okay? No physical pain in my body, and yet I have chronic spine issues where I've had MRIs and surgeons have wanted to perform massive surgery on my spine. They don't even know how I'm walking. So if you think this doesn't work for structural damage, then think twice, because it does. You know, you just have to address what's causing that pain. So what I wanted to do, first of all, has everybody washed their hands? Because we're going to be tapping on our faces. So I need you to all to have washed your hands or use something, to clean your hands. Secondly, if you could have your phones on mute, please, that would be really helpful. And what I like to do is I like to start with a really nice little relaxation. So if you'd like to join me in this, what I'd like you to do, everyone, and guess what? Today it's Global Love Day. Who knew that? Global Love Day. Isn't that awesome? So what we're going to do is I want you to all close your eyes. Just close your eyes and notice the breath. Notice the rise and fall of your breath as it's coming in and out. Notice the seat that you're sitting on. Notice your feet on the floor. Notice your shoulders are relaxing as you're just breathing gently in and out. Notice all the muscles in your face are relaxing and your jaw's relaxing. Just breathing gently. And what I'd like you to do, because today is Global Love Day, I would like you to think about someone that you would like to send some love to today. Just bring them to mind and just notice them in front of you and feel that love inside of you that you want to send to them. And feel that love. Notice where you feel it in your body. Notice how good it feels. And all the things that you love about this person, or maybe a dog, whoever it is. Just recall all the wonderful memories that you have with that person and what it is about them that you love. And what I want you to do is I want you to send that feeling to them. Send it to them and notice that they receive it and they're sending it back to you, and it feels so amazing to feel that love inside of you. And notice where you feel that in your body. And now take a deep breath in and blow it out. Hold your wrist and say peace. Good job, good job. Well done, well done. I'm just going to unmute everyone. I wonder if somebody would like to share with me what that experience was like for you. Anyone?
Yes, I would. It's Annette here, and it was absolutely beautiful, Lolita, to be able to give the love but also receive it from somebody special. I just felt a warm glow inside me, and it made me forget about everything that's happened today.
Wonderful.
It was beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
And did you, are you able to see images, Annette? Do you see images when you see that person?
Yes, a little bit. I can imagine they're there. I don't see clear images, but I imagine. But I work on feelings. I can really feel that love.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So what you'll notice as you're doing that is often you'll have an image of that person. It's like the brain has made a recording of how that person looks, and you're able to access that really quickly, just like that, okay? So if I said to you, what does your front door look like? you would be able to immediately access that information from your brain. You recall it really quickly, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is that, I'm just going to mute everyone again. So what happens is we all have these images. Some people are not aware of it as much. Some people say, no, I don't see anything, and that's perfectly fine. We all see and hear, smell, taste, feel things differently, okay? But what we do is that we can access memories so easily and so quickly. And that's what this process is really about. It's about being able to recall memories that are bothering you and be able to then help the brain to upgrade that memory if it's a memory that's been bothering you for a long time. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about also is that a lot of our problems that we have will be about core beliefs that we have. Okay, so for example, when I got well so quickly, people were always saying to me, you know, how come you got well so fast? And now I've studied beliefs and I understand about beliefs and what an impact the belief that you have can have on your illness. And it's also part of the A study that I was talking about earlier. There's a section in there about beliefs and what an impact your belief will have on your outcome. Okay, whatever it is that you're addressing, whether it's physical pain, whether it's a chronic illness, whether it's a mental illness, whether it's, you know, just anything that's bothering you, it'll be, a lot of it will be about your beliefs that you hold. And so I say to people, you know, I believe that I recovered so quickly was because my core belief has always been that my body could heal itself. Okay, I always had that core belief because I had lots of proofs of that in my brain. I had broken bones, I had twisted things, I'd injured myself, and I'd been, you know, I'd had flus and things like that, and I always got well. I recovered. So my brain had lots and lots of proof that my body could heal itself. I just needed to put it in the right environment, you know, to do that. And when I was sick, I thought it was eating all the right food, you know, no gluten, no sugar, you know, no coloring and preservatives. And I'd go on these really strict diets and I'd take all these supplements and, you know, I'm a vegetarian and I just eat out of the garden. I'd only want to eat organic. And, you know, I was super, super strict about my food intake, you know, and no chemicals in my home. And so I did all these things thinking that that's what was going to help me to get well. I didn't know that it was about my emotional pain. I didn't know it was all about the traumas, you know, that I had experienced, and that my brain's job is to keep me safe. And that's what it was doing. It was keeping me safe from being hurt again. Because at the time that I got sick, I was very unhappy. I'd been carrying this deep sadness inside of me and this grief for a very, very long time. Because I'd lost my mother when I was only 2 years old. I've been motherless. I lost my father when I was 15. And so for some reason, and I didn't know at the time, but anything that would happen to me, I would blame the other person, thinking it was they were making me unhappy. But what it really was is it was all that deep sadness inside of me that I was carrying. And so I've been able to resolve that, you know, with this process, because it was all the memories, you know, that I held. Now, who knows about memories? Who has certain beliefs and knowledge about memories? I'm going to unmute everybody and just get you to talk to me about what your beliefs are about memories. Anyone? Oh, I thought I was unmuting everyone. Here we go. I unmuted everyone. Just mute yourself if you think you're going to be noisy in the background, please.
I'll talk if you like.
Lee, yes?
I believe that things can re-stimulate a memory. So in your normal life, you could just be going along and something happens and it will bring back, re-stimulate a memory, whether it be good or bad. Music sometimes brings back a good memory.
Yes,
But
yes.
something may happen that you might watch something on television. Not in my case, but some people would like with sexual abuse.
Yes.
And that will re-stimulate their memory about sexual abuse. And that can really bring a horrid amount of stuff up for them.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they're
That's
just
right.
going along their ordinary life and something.
Yes. So we get triggered all the time,
yeah.
you know, by things that are happening around us, what you see, what you hear. Anyone else about your understanding about memories? I'm a big fan of memory research. I love memory research, and I'll follow several people that you may be interested in, and I'll send these to you in the email, follow-up email after. But people that I listen to are Danielle Schiller. She's a memory researcher, and what's her name? Professor Elizabeth Loftus, and a professor, she's a psychologist, Shaw, Diane Shaw, I think it is. I've forgotten her first name. Anyway, all these people are famous for their memory research. And so if you're interested more in memories and how it's absolutely possible to upgrade a memory so that you are not triggered anymore by that memory. So what Lee was saying, for example, someone who's been sexually abused, and then they might watch that on television and then get triggered, and their body just, they're flooded by all those memories of their sexual abuse. So what that person could do, and I work with people with sexual abuse all the time who've had sexual abuse, what we do is recall that memory, but for a very, very short period of time. Whenever you work on memories, you're only there for one moment and then you're out of it, okay? That's what we do with the defractionation. We pull you out of memories very quickly, okay? So don't think that, oh, I'm going to be re-traumatized, because that's just a fallacy. You can't be re-traumatized by recalling a memory, because we're doing it all the time anyway. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about we live in the past 24/7. We're being triggered by our memories 24/7. So there's no such thing as being re-traumatized by recalling a memory. It's just not possible to do that. But what we do is use a very safe, many safe processes. So fast EFT, there's about 20 different techniques that we use to always make sure that that person feels comfortable and they feel safe, okay? This is a good time for me to give you a disclaimer. So I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is a personal relaxation tool. It's a calming tool. It's a stress reduction tool. And you need to take responsibility for how you use it and what you do with it, okay? The other thing is something that some people call it abreactions, but I like to call it emotional detox. When you're doing this work, sometimes there'll be different things that will happen to you, because this is mind-body work. You may notice that you're yawning when you're doing this work. Your body's releasing whatever it is it's holding on to. Some people get very vivid dreams after they've done this work, or these dreams will start surfacing, okay? So once you know how to do this tapping, you can use it to address the dreams. You can use it to address anything that surfaces after we do this, okay? The other thing that happens is sometimes lots of memories will come flooding in. When I first started doing this, that happened with me. I started having memories of things that I hadn't thought of for like 40, 50 years. It was really remarkable. And I took that as a really good opportunity to tap on and to transform it, to upgrade it, to change that memory. So it didn't bother me anymore. It was like my brain was bringing them all up for me to do something with, you know, to change them. So any other questions about memories before we move on? Everyone okay?
I do think of one thing, Lalita. Quite a few years ago, I was involved in co-counselling, and the theory there was if something happens and it's distressing, it doesn't slot away like a library book on a shelf. It stays like spaghetti in the brain, and it takes
Yes.
up all the creative thinking space.
That's right.
So the
That's
idea
right.
was to discharge the emotion concerned with the memory.
So your prefrontal cortex comes back online.
Yeah.
So when you're stressed, like everyone is at the moment, when you're in that heightened state of uncertainty and unknowing and fear and panic, the prefrontal cortex of your brain just shuts down. Okay, and that's where your creativity lies. That's where your good decisions come from. That's where your, you know, good choices, everything that's imaginative and creative, that just shuts down when you're stressed. So this is a really good tool. You know, I've worked with so many artists and musicians and, you know, just a whole range of people, and they get stuck. They don't know what's going on. Why is it that suddenly I can't paint anymore? Why is it that I can't produce my music anymore? You know, and this really helps them to address that, because their prefrontal cortex is just shut down while they're in that stuck kind of panic feeling. Now, somebody's got their hand raised. Do I need to address that? Anyone? No? All good? Okay.
Lolita, I can only see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
And is there a problem with that? Do you
Oh
want
no,
to see everyone?
No, I'm just wondering if other people can see everyone or how it's working.
I'm not sure, Lee.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If I swipe my screen across, I can see everybody, but it only comes up 4 at a time.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Depends what you're using, what device you're using, I think. I've got it on gallery view. So, okay. So, what else did I want to tell you? More about beliefs. So, a belief, so have you ever noticed that everyone has different beliefs? Okay, so even like your partner in the same household, you'll have different beliefs about things. Anybody notice that, right? I know my husband and I, we've been married for over 40 years. He has totally different beliefs to what I do. You know, they often come up for discussion. So why is that? Why does that happen? So we have a belief because of all the proofs and all the references that we hold. So whatever we have experienced throughout our life is what our belief will become, okay? So if you have a belief that, say for example, you've grown up in a household and your family only saw health professionals, they only saw doctors. You were not allowed to go and see those quacks, right? You're not allowed to go and see naturopaths or any of those weird woo-woo people. You only were allowed to go and see doctors. Now, what would that person's belief be? Or the people that were raised in their family, what would their belief be? Right? That you don't trust naturopaths. You don't go to naturopaths. You don't go to osteopaths. You don't go to any of those people. You only go to doctors. Doctors are the only people that you go to. So say if that person had that belief and then they met somebody who had the opposite feeling, you know, they didn't believe in doctors because they had really bad experience with doctors. they only believed in natural remedies, you know, herbs and just healing themselves. That's setting that couple up for many, many difficulties, isn't it? Right? So we all have different beliefs. And it's your beliefs that will be showing up and getting in the way of you addressing whatever it is that you want to change. You know, I don't know what everybody's struggling with out there, but I know we've all got problems. Every single one of us have got some problems that we're dealing with. And at the moment, probably really exacerbated problems, right? So what I'm going to ask everyone, while I've got you unmuted, I think I have, I'm trying to do this mute and unmute thing. I'm going to unmute everyone, and I'd like you to tell me, I think I've done that. I'd like you to tell me some of the problems that you're facing, some of the stresses, the difficulties, the challenges. What is it that you're finding really difficult? Anyone?
I'm dealing with my son's ex-partner who's written an affidavit full of lies and accusations.
So son's ex-partner, and what bothers you about it the most?
Oh, she's written an affidavit which I have to address to the family.
What bothers you about it the most?
Lies, accusations, yeah.
Lies and accusations. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, Lolita, I find that the repeating of news all the time on every channel, every station, continually just mentioning, you know, coronavirus over and over and over. Yeah, that doesn't help us.
What distresses you about that, Annette?
For me, I think it's the effect on so many people in this world.
Of the news, how the news is impacting people?
I think the wording could be a lot better.
Okay, so the wording of the news. Okay. Anyone else? What's been bothering you?
I'll say something. I thought I was going okay with the news, but I started to get some back pain that I haven't had for quite some time, and I usually meditate to relieve the stress.
Right.
And I found that it actually wasn't working that well, and I think it's just because of the uncertainty. It's just
uncertainty.
Deal with.
Yes. So you don't normally have back pain, but here you are, you're experiencing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's quite common, Val. I use this book here called The Secret Language of Your Body. And that's what I used when I was working on my pain, you know, and it tells you the emotional reasons for whatever pain that you have in your body. And if I looked up there, back pain, I'm pretty sure uncertainty and fear and the unknown, all those things would probably be there. So would you like to have some relief from your back pain tonight?
Oh, I wouldn't mind, yeah.
Yeah, good. We can do that. So I want you to just think about that. Now, I've had to mute everyone because it was just getting too noisy. So if you want to speak up, just unmute yourself. Is there anyone else who's got any issues like, you know, is there any conspiracy theories? Are you annoyed with the government? Are you worried about your job? Are you worried about that you might get this coronavirus? Anyone else?
Cindy, Lolita. I'm not really I'm concerned about the coronavirus, but for me it's more fatigue and getting through the day and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Just feeling tired all the time and
Yes.
lack of energy and motivation.
Mm-hmm. And you sound like you've had that for a while, Cindy, have you? It's not just since the virus has been.
Yeah, no, I
It's
was diagnosed with a chronic illness about 8 years ago. So
okay.
I've been living with that for that time.
Yes, I'm sorry to hear that. I have a lot of empathy for you. I know how difficult that is. And please just keep exploring this further because it will help you. There are thousands and thousands of people. And this is a good time for me to tell you about some websites that you can look at. So Faster EFT, and I'll send you all these later. I was hoping I would have somebody on board to help me with this, but I'll email them to you later.
Okay.
So Faster EFT website, .com, fastereft.com, and the YouTube channel is Neuroplasticity Made Easy, and you will find absolutely hundreds of people on there who have had lifelong chronic illnesses and they're all fine now. Okay,
Right.
even some of them, even 10 years later, they still do not have their illness. So please delve into this, explore it, and look into it further.
Right.
Now, my website for everyone is stressfreefast.com.au. You jump on there and have a look as well. And I'm asking everyone, I've made myself a goal. I haven't really done much on YouTube at all. I've been really focusing on helping people one-on-one. And recently I've decided I need to reach more people. There's such a need out in the community that I want to reach more people. And so I've made a goal for myself that I'm going to have 1,000 people subscribe to my YouTube channel by the end of the year. So please jump on my YouTube channel. I'll be sending you a link to this recording, which you can watch again if you want to, and subscribe while you're there for me, okay? And share with other people because I'm going to be making lots and lots of videos on all the different tapping methods and posting them on there so you'll be able to see. The other thing I'm doing is I'm going to be launching some courses very soon. The first one's going to be the Making Magic Happy Journal course. And that's about reprogramming your thinking to more thinking in a positive way. Because we tend to, as human beings, focus a lot on our negative thinking, you know, our negative feelings. So that's the Happy Journal will help you to do that, okay? And then there'll be other courses after that. So keep an eye out for that. Come over and join me in my Facebook group and my Facebook page so that you can keep up to date with what I'm doing, and share that as well, please. And what else did I need to tell you? Oh, and I've just recently joined Instagram as well. I have no idea what I'm doing there. And I really only joined so I could do this interview this morning. And I kind of like, oh, this is cool. I can get used to this. So I'm just learning. I'll have to probably do a crash course on that. If there's anyone out there that's really good at Instagram, please help me. Okay. So, so what I want to do now is, just trying to keep track of the time as well, is I'd like everybody to really have an experience of being able to make a change. I know many of you there are already tappers and you've done this before. One of the things that I love to do is help people to refine their tapping so that it's really effective for them. And so what I'll get you to do is to choose a little problem, okay, that you want to work with, and make sure that it's not something that's any higher than about a 6 in feeling it, okay? So just choose a little problem, and it may be what some of you have indicated here, the back pain, Val, the lies and the accusations, Lee, the fatigue, whatever it is that you want to work on, okay? And I'll help you to change that, all right? How about that? Who'd like that? Before we do that though, what I'd like a few people to do is that as you're thinking about your problem, you know, this is your workshop, so I want it to be interactive. I want you to take part in it. And when you tell me things, then I can help you to address those things, okay? So what I'd like you to think about is think about your problem that you want to work on, and then also think about what you want the outcome to be. What would you rather have? Say for Val, for example, you've developed this back pain. If you didn't have the back pain, what would you rather have? What would you prefer? Tell me a couple of things.
Well, I think that if I was more relaxed, maybe I wouldn't have the back pain, because it's just come on recently, and I think I was sort of dealing with the stress and it's made me tense up, and somehow I need to be more relaxed.
Okay. So if you were more relaxed, what would you say your back pain is at the moment? What would you rate it at?
Oh, well, it's bearable, like it's only 2 or 3, but it's there. It's not going away. It was very bad a few weeks ago.
Right. So it's the not going away part of it that concerns you.
I think that in the past I've sort of done exercise and it goes away, but now I'm thinking, oh, I think something is still irritating me.
Yeah, yes, okay. That's good, thank you. Anybody else, just mute yourself and tell me what you would like your outcome to be. So Cindy, for example, with your fatigue, if we did some tapping on that now and helped you with that to shift it, what would you rather have? And is it fatigue that you want to work on? Can you just unmute yourself?
Sorry.
That's all right. I need to just mute everyone because otherwise there's too much noise.
I think I'd just like to have more energy to get things accomplished during the day.
Okay,
for
so
me.
more energy.
Yeah.
Was there a period of time where you had more energy, Cindy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So as we're doing this, I want you to remind yourself of that, and also think back to when you first noticed that you had the loss of energy, the fatigue.
It seems to be like on a bit of a merry-go-round. Like it's some days you feel okay, and then other days, I'm just really fatigued, and I could sleep the day away and that sort of thing.
Yes. Is there anything that triggers it particularly?
Not particularly, I don't think. Oh, well, apart from medication, I mean, that probably doesn't help.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
I get that.
I think it's a combination of quality of sleep and good eating and looking after yourself and all of that sort of thing as well.
So this is what I was talking about earlier, is the belief about it. So as we're doing this, everyone, I want you to think about that as well. What's my belief about this problem? So Val, what's my belief about this pain? You know, what's my belief about whatever it is that you're thinking of working on will have a big impact on it. Also, when did it start? You know, and what's the worst thing about it as well will help you. Sometimes also, if anybody else has the same problem, because the brain makes links all the time. And sometimes what it does is you'll start having an experience of a problem, but it's actually somebody else's problem, okay? I love telling the story about a little girl and her mother who came to see me at an event that I was at, and I was doing 15-minute sessions of tapping. Just going to mute everyone. Okay. So I was at this event, and this mother and daughter came to see me, and the mum said, I'm not sure whether you can help my daughter. She's coughing all the time. And this little girl was barking like a dog. She was coughing and coughing and coughing. And so I just asked her a couple of little questions. When did she start coughing? 2 years ago. She'd been coughing nonstop for 2 years, and she'd been to doctors, psychologists. She'd had, tubes down her throat. She'd been to speech therapists. They tried all these different things, and this cough just wouldn't go. And she was starting to lose her confidence. She was starting to develop a feeling very bad about herself, her self-esteem. Everyone's sick of me. They all keep telling me to stop coughing. She's about 8 years old. And this is really having a major impact on her life at school, at home, and with her friends. And so I said to her, when did it start 2 years ago? What happened 2 years ago that may have been a significant event, that may have been quite, traumatic, some bad news or anything like that? And her mother said she'd taken a phone call that her father, the little girl's grandfather, had been taken to hospital, and he was very ill. And the little girl overheard this conversation and saw the shocked expression on the mother's face. And then I said to her, this was significant. I said to her, who else has this cough, right? Because I know how the brain works. I know the brain makes links. And who else has the cough? She said, well, Grandma does. But I can cough louder than her. And she started coughing really loud. And Mum said, that's how we find Grandma. When she's in the supermarket, she coughs so loud, and that's how we find her. So I thought, okay, I can help here. I'm pretty sure I can help her. Would you like to have a go? Sat down with her, and with her mother's permission, I tapped on the little girl, and 2 rounds of tapping, she could not cough. I said to her, try and cough now. And she went, I can't cough. And she looked at her mother and she cried. Her mother looked at me and she cried, and then I cried. And this was such an enormous relief for this little girl and her mother. Her cough just went, and it hasn't come back. Now, what was going on there? What was happening? That was happening in the brain, wasn't it? The brain made that recording of that significant event. She remembered, this is how grandmother copes with stress. She coughs. And so she went into the same program, went into the same thing. And I see this all the time with addictions. I see it with mental illness. I see it right across the board with many, many illnesses, that often we take other people unknowingly, unconsciously. So remember when I was talking about all those experiences that we have throughout life, 98% of them are all in the subconscious mind. We're not even aware of them. They're just there. And we're on default. So we're operating from all that information in the subconscious mind, which is just how the brain works. It's like how the computer works. It just brings up that information when it's needed. It finds it and uses it. And so we're just going along every day, and that's why we're getting triggered. That's why we feel bad. That's why we get stuck, and that's why we have a lot of the problems that we have, because we have all this information in the subconscious mind that's just there all the time in the background. So you can use this Dft tapping style to address all of that information. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. So I want a couple more outcomes, and then we're going to go into doing some tapping. Okay. Anyone else thinking about your problem and what you'd like your outcome to be if you didn't have that problem? Claire, do you have anything? Just unmute yourself.
There we go. Well, I've actually just suddenly got a sore foot. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Sore
that
foot.
Towards the end of last week, and I went to the doctor yesterday, and supposedly I have a stress fracture.
Golly. And how did you feel about that when you were told that?
Oh, I just went boom down because I
Right.
wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah. Okay. So think about that.
So,
And
because I've been doing, well, silly thing is, since COVID, I've been walking morning and night and loving it.
Okay, good.
So then of course he goes, no walking for 6 weeks. And that didn't make me happy. So
No.
come is, I just want to get back to where I was. And I believe, like, I just don't want to get into that mentality and let it get me down.
Okay. But what would you rather have?
Well, I want to get rid of the pain and get back to walking and exactly where I was, because I was okay.
Okay. Are you prepared to keep doing this work? So we may, what I can hopefully do is help reduce that pain and reduce the emotional turmoil. But
Yeah.
are you committed to and prepared to keep doing this?
Yeah. No, I am.
And I can, because there's several of you here that are probably dealing with some kind of symptom or some physical discomfort, I'll teach you a way to how to address that. All right? Would you like that?
Yeah, that'd
Cool.
be good.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else have a problem and an outcome? All good? Well, let's get started. Are you with us, Lee? You okay? Okay. So what we're going to do is I'd like you to close your eyes and just go into that relaxed state of just breathing and relaxing. Notice your breath, the rise and fall of your breath, coming in and out. Notice a chair underneath you, your feet on the floor. Notice your hands relaxing, your jaw relaxing. Just breathing in and out. And notice how you know you've got this little problem. Remember, we're not going to let it get any higher than a 5 or 6. Notice how it's bothering you. Notice if you feel it anywhere in your body. And see what you see in this problem. Notice the images, the colors. Notice anything that you hear, any sounds, any noises, any voices. Notice if you can see other people in this problem. Notice the expression on their face, their mannerism, and anything that bothers you about that. Notice any smells, any tastes, all the ways that this bothers you, this pain in your back, that discomfort, this foot, the fatigue, the frustration, anything else. Just notice that. And notice how it bothers you the most. Notice when it started. And just go to that part that bothers you the most, but remember, no higher than a 6. And now what I want you to do is see it for the very last time. Now imagine in front of you a sandcastle on the beach, and the waves come in what's going to happen to that sandcastle? It's going to get washed away back out into the ocean. Notice it doing that, and notice it's taking your problem with it. Got it? And now I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to just lift your head up and look up and just roll your eyes back. And now look down at the floor. Look to the right. Notice anything on the wall. Notice on the left, anything on the wall there. And then just look at me and follow my fingers. Roll your eyes around in a circle that way and now this way. And now feeling your fingertips, I want you to just tap on the eyebrow point right here. You can't get it wrong. Now the great thing about tapping is you can tap with one hand, you can tap with two hands, you can tap on either side, it doesn't really matter, okay? And also sometimes what you can do if you want to is just massage. You can also massage each spot, just like that, very gently. And you can also slide your hand like that if you want to. It still all works, okay? And then when you get really good at this, after you've trained your brain to use tapping to help you relax, to help you be calm, then you can just do it inside your head without tapping at all, okay? So starting at the eyebrow point now, everyone, what I want you to do is I'll get you to repeat everything that I say. I am now eliminating all of my sadnesses,
all of my
all of my fears,
all of my fears,
and all the emotional trauma,
and all the emotional trauma,
this pain in my foot,
this pain in my leg,
this pain in my back.
this pain in my
I'm letting it go now.
back.
I'm letting it go.
Other side of the
I'm
eye,
letting it go now.
slide to the side and just repeat after me. I'm now releasing and letting go.
I'm now releasing and letting go.
All the angers,
All the angers,
the resentments,
the resentment,
the guilt,
the guilt,
the blame,
the blame,
and the shame.
and the shame.
I'm letting it go now.
I'm letting it go now.
That tense feeling,
That tense feeling,
the irritation,
the irritation,
this merry-go-round that I'm on,
this merry-go-round that I'm on,
that stress fracture.
stress fracture.
I can't walk for 6 weeks.
I can't walk for 6 weeks.
I went down.
I went down.
Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Now under the eye, releasing and letting go.
Releasing and letting go.
All the judgments,
All the judgments,
the criticisms,
the criticisms,
the times I felt abandoned,
the times I felt abandoned,
betrayed.
betrayed.
Just let it go.
Just let it go.
I'm letting it go today.
I'm letting it go today.
On the collarbone, releasing and letting go.
Releasing and letting go.
All the feelings of helplessness,
All the feelings of helplessness,
feelings of hopelessness,
the feelings of
feelings of
hopelessness,
no control,
the feelings of no control,
the rejection,
the rejection,
all the uncertainty,
all the uncertainty,
that news on every channel,
that news on every channel,
so distressing for everyone.
so distressing for
All
everyone.
those lies and accusations.
All the lies and
It's
accusations.
time to let them all go now.
Time to let them all go now.
And as I let it go,
And as I let it go,
I notice a sense of calm,
I notice a sense of calm,
a sense of peace,
a sense of peace,
and I'm okay now.
and I'm okay now.
I'm moving on from this problem now.
I'm moving on from this problem now.
And I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Now take a deep breath in and blow it out and hold your wrist and just give it a couple of little squeezes and say peace. And in your mind, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to go to a peaceful place, either real or imagined, and see what you see Hear what you hear. Feel what you feel. Notice the smells, the tastes, the colours and images. And feel that feeling inside of you, that peaceful place, that calm place right there. And what I want you to do is send that feeling to you in this problem. And notice how much better that is now. Notice how it's changed, how it's different. Send it to your back, that feeling. Send it to your foot and anything else. Take a deep breath in and blow it out and say peace.
Easy.
Good job. Well done. Now, has anyone got any questions about that part of the process? I just, actually what I'll do is I'll get you to unmute yourself as you want to speak. So we're going to go back and we're going to check that problem in a minute, but I just want to stop and see if anyone has any questions about that process. Val, how did you find that?
Yeah, no, that was good. I felt a few things, more emotions releasing than I thought.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. So you're surprised about the emotions that were there?
Yeah, there was something there I sort of knew about, but it did come out. Yeah, it was good.
Excellent. Yeah. How did you know that it came out, that it was different?
Oh, well, I kind of, I have an issue with,
did it just it just felt different?
Yeah,
yes?
No, it kind of felt a relief at the end of it.
Excellent. Yeah. And what's happening in your back? Anything there? You said it was about...
I sensed a feeling in there that a bit of tension released.
Okay. So when we go back and do it again, I want you to think about when it was the worst and see if you can release that from the brain. Okay? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Claire, how did you go?
Well, I've got like tingling in my foot. That's amazing. Yeah.
And what do you put that down to? What do you make of that?
Well, it was interesting because it took me back. I had a memory just as probably before we just started that Mum had a stress fracture in her foot.
So asking that question, who else had it, brought that to mind.
So yeah. So and I was probably I don't know, maybe in my 20s or something when that happened.
Yes.
Yeah, and it just brought that memory back. And I don't know what foot it happened to on her. I can't remember. But yeah, I remember talking through all this and had a lot of trouble finding out what was wrong with her foot for a long time. So.
Yes, okay. Okay, yeah. So your brain just needed you to know that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then you've got tingling.
Yeah.
Okay, good, excellent. Anybody else? Anything that I can help with? All good out there? Okay, excellent. So what we'll do now is we'll go back and we'll check it, all right? So close your eyes and go back to the problem that you were working on. And you'll notice, so you gave it a rating before. Notice it's changed. Notice it's different now. It might feel different, look different. You even thinking about it different. Sometimes what happens is the memory will completely upgrade or flip, that we call it. All right, so just notice what's left now. And now tapping on the eyebrow point again. So opening your eyes again and just lift your head up if you need to. Whenever you notice when you're tapping, you have your head down, you want to lift it up. okay? Because when you have your head down, you'll be in the trance. So you keep your head up and tap there, all right? This time what we're going to do is a different defrag, okay? So starting at the eyebrow point, what I want you to do is I want you to, as I am calling out words in your mind, I want you to count backwards in 2, starting from 100. Okay, everybody do that? Okay, and I'm just going to be calling out. So I'm now releasing this pain. I'm releasing all this worry, all this sadness, the feeling of uncertainty, the side of the eye, all that news, all the concerns, the fear, the anxiety, just let it go. Under the eye, this feeling of dread, it's so unpredictable. The panic, just let it go. All the ways this problem bothers me, the colors, the images, the expressions on the faces, the tone of their voices, I'm just letting it all go now. On the collarbone, this pain, this discomfort, all these memories, all these thoughts, all these feelings, just letting them all go now. I'm ready to change this. I'm ready to have more energy, feel more relaxed, more calm, be pain-free, be walking again, carefully, gently, but walking again. I'm okay now. I'm ready to do the best that I can. I have great coping skills and I stay focused on what I can control. I'm grounded, connected, and in peace. Take a deep breath in, blow it out, hold your wrist, and peace. Again, go to that peaceful place, either imagined or real, and really feel that in your body. And notice how good that feels. Good job. Take a deep breath in, blow it out. Peace. Okay. So now, if someone would like to share with me what you're noticing different now. And do you have any questions about why did I ask you to count backwards? Why would you do that? Anyone?
I would like to know why we did that, Lolita.
Okay, who was that?
It's Emma.
Emma. Hi, Emma.
But I'm also, I wanted to jump in and say what was going on for me, but I didn't for whatever reason. But a lot of what you said related to my issues anyway, so thank you.
Oh, well done, well done. And that's the beauty of this borrowing the benefits. You know, we all feel the same range of emotions. So when I just call out a whole range of emotions that everyone's experiencing, that anyone's experiencing, we've all experienced those emotions. You know, we've all felt sadness, we've all felt fear. These are all human emotions that we all experience. So when someone else experiences them, we benefit from that by tapping on it, okay? So about the counting backwards in numbers, what we're doing is when we go to our problem, we're going to trance. We're going to a hypnotic trance about it, okay? And then you don't want to stay in that trance for very long. You know, I made a goal when I first started doing this, 0 tolerance to anything that will put me into a trance of bad thoughts, bad feelings, memories that trigger me and I feel bad. 0 tolerance. And I've stuck with that for 5 years. I'm very, very dedicated to that. And do you know why? Because I was miserable for 17 years and I will not allow myself to feel miserable for one more day, let alone, I don't even let myself feel miserable for more than 5 minutes now. That's how strict I am with myself. Lolita, you are not going to feel miserable Just get rid of this, and because you have a tool now. Before I didn't have a tool to stop that. I could stay miserable for days and weeks and months if I wanted to. I'm not doing that anymore. If I feel bad or I'm thinking bad thoughts in my head, which is usually what starts it, usually you'll have thoughts and you'll get into the trance of the thoughts, and then the feelings will follow in your body, and then you'll have the behavior or the pain. Okay? Unless you've injured yourself, that's a little bit different. Okay? So we're talking about acute things, we're talking about long-lasting things here, very different, okay? But you can certainly tap on acute stuff. I fell over and dislocated my shoulder a few months ago. The first thing I did was started tapping. As soon as I hit the ground, I immediately started to tap because I know how powerful this process is. And I didn't want my brain to remember that injury as a trauma. And so I tapped straight away, and I tapped as I was waiting for the ambulance to come, throughout the surgery, after the surgery, and ever since. So zero tolerance, I recommend. Give yourself that gift of zero tolerance, because trances are not real, right? They're just not real. And you can change that state, you can change your mood, you can change your thinking by using the tapping, okay? And so what we did then was we used a defractionation process, which is mostly what fast EFT is about, and we scrambled that information in the brain so that it flattens it out, so it pulls you out of the trance, okay? So now what we're going to do is go back and check it again. So close your eyes and go back to the problem and check it, and notice it's changed again. Some people, it won't be bothering them at all anymore. It's like, okay, whatever it was, it's gone now. Doesn't bother me. Maybe the memory's completely flipped. So just notice that. For anybody who still has a problem there, can you let me know? Just unmute yourself and let me know.
I've still got pain. It's weird what happened before, because today I've been having like red hot poker pain going into the side of my head, and then my pain has reduced now, but
Good.
just before it was like somebody put a red hot poker into my thumb here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your pain moved?
Yes, it was so unusual. I've never felt that before.
And this shows how the brain is creating pain. If you can move pain, that means it's happening in the brain. So you've got control of it. You can do something about it. Okay? So you just keep tapping on it and shift it, but also tap on the emotions of all the things that are going on in your life that are really bothering you. Okay? Is there anybody else? Just and somebody who hasn't done a lot of tapping before, someone who's not really familiar with this process, because I want to be able to help you. Anyone else? Val, how are you going? What's left for you? Just unmute yourself.
I'm feeling in a more peaceful state, more in control.
That relax.
Can't really change things, but my attitude to it is, it's okay, I can deal with it.
Right. So you wanted your outcome to feel more relaxed about the problem. Is that what you've...
Yeah, because then if I can relax, then I can cope with it more.
Okay. So can you see yourself doing this?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So you're a new person, you've just come for the first time, you don't know anything about it. Now you've got a tool to take with you, and this tool is there for the rest of your life, guys. Not just today, not just tomorrow, next week. It's there with you for the rest of your life if you use it. I was speaking with someone today who was absolutely miserable, and she said to me, she just decided to stop tapping. And she wonders why she's so miserable, So I just gently encouraged her to just start doing it again. You know, Robert Smith, who's the creator of Fast EFT, he talks about jumping in the muddy water again, the dirty water again. You know, you don't do that to yourself. You know, I won't. I will just not allow myself to do that. I want to feel happy every day. I want to feel good every day. I want to feel amazing every day. And that's what I do, because I take emotional control, you know, and I address my stuff every day by tapping. Okay. Is there anyone who is working on something and you're able to, it's gone altogether? Completely gone. Just unmute yourself. Let us know. No? Everyone's still got a little problem? Something there that's bothering you? Has everyone been able to reduce it? So is there anyone who hasn't been able to reduce their problem at all that they were working on? Speak, unmute.
I don't really feel any different, but then I haven't been doing it and not really familiar with the tapping either. So whether
can I ask what it was specifically that you were working on? What did you choose? Can you tell us without telling us, kind of thing?
No, not really. I think I was just trying to feel more positive and better about myself.
Okay, and how were you doing that in your mind? I was trying to feel positive and better about myself. So you didn't actually choose a problem to tap on?
I just find it hard to pinpoint one thing because I feel like I've got a few things going on.
Yes, yes. Look, I understand that. Many of us are like that. But with this, if you can, like what I recommend is if you've got a whole lot of stuff, you come and see me and let me help you to find the links, find all the bits and pieces of it. I'm very, very good at doing that. I'm like a little detective. You know, I go to work and I know the brain so well that I can often help you do that.
Yeah.
And then after that, I will coach you and teach you how to do it yourself.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense to me that it's having the ability to make it happen, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So when you said you were trying to feel, what was it again?
More positive and good about myself.
More positive and good about yourself. All right, so let's do this. And if everyone's happy to, I can tap along with Cindy and help her to change this. And what you can do is just keep tapping on what you were working on, all right, and just follow along. Are you happy to do that, Cindy?
Yeah, yep.
All right, so I'm going to mute everyone. And if you can just unmute yourself, Cindy.
Okay,
all right. So you said that you want to feel more positive and more...
Just well-being, you know, more positive and more a better feeling about yourself and that sort of thing. Able to cope with the day and what it presents and...
Okay, so the opposite of this then is you must be feeling really negative.
Probably, yes.
Yes? How does that show up for you? When you're feeling negative, how does that look to you? Is it what you're thinking?
Yeah, and I get tired and I like to sleep.
Yes.
So I tend to put things off and we'll do them later and that sort of thing.
Right. So you sort of put things off, procrastinate because you get tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So often tired feelings fatigue. So remember, the body follows the brain. So whatever's happening in the body is happening in the brain first.
Right.
Right. When did you first notice that you were tired all the time?
It's been with me for quite a long time.
Yep, 20, 30 years, all your life, most of your life.
I feel that I was quite sleep deprived with my third child.
Right.
Yeah, so...
Okay. So you really noticed it then?
Yeah, well, she's 19 now, so...
Okay, so 19 years you've been tired. Anybody else that you know, did you grow up with anyone in your family of origin? Was there anybody who was fatigued, tired, struggled, negative, procrastinated?
I'm one of 8, so and I'm the youngest, so all my siblings are older than me.
Yes.
So it's quite difficult for me to
have a voice, have an
idea of what their upbringing and that sort of thing was like, I guess. I rely a lot on maybe their memories.
What they've told you,
yeah.
And that's another thing that will have a big impact on your whatever's happening with you. So it was like Claire remembered her mother had a foot fracture.
Yeah.
Also, whatever we've been told, whatever you've been told, the brain also records that.
Right.
So when you think about what you've been told, what's significant that fits this picture for you of just being tired, negative, not feeling good about yourself?
I guess I think it really does go back to my childhood.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because like yourself, I lost my mum when I was 11.
Okay. Yes.
But she had a chronic illness as well, or a terminal illness, as it turned out.
Yes, yes.
So, and that was from probably the time when I was about 5 or 6. I'm getting,
So mum had a long-term chronic illness. You have a long-term chronic illness.
I have now.
Anyone else in your family?
Yeah, some of my brothers do as well.
Yes. Okay. But, so I've got a fair bit there that I think that I can help you to process.
Yeah.
You know, and may be able to shift some of this load off your nervous system. So what happens is when you've experienced a lot of these traumas and hurts and grief and pain and losses, it impacts your nervous system, because every time these things happen, your body's flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Every time you think about those things, you recall them, you have a thought of them, the body's dumping a whole heap of cortisol and adrenaline into your nervous system. And after a while, with your nervous system is going into the fight-flight response constantly, right? It's hyper-vigilant, hyper-aware. Then illness, that's where illness comes from.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a lot of information about that. I'm just talking about this very quickly, but if you want to know more about it, I can give you some people to learn that from.
Yeah.
So it's trauma equals nervous system dysregulation equals chronic illness.
Right.
So what we do with this process is just address those traumas, address those hurts, and lessen the reaction of the nervous system. Once the nervous system calms down, the body goes into repair. Okay? The body goes into healing mode. But you've got to address the nervous system dysregulation first.
Right.
And then what your belief is about it as well, about your illness. So your mother was very ill and she died when you were 11, left all these children, right? It must have been devastating. Okay.
Yes.
So let's work on this. Now, anybody, if you need to leave, because it's getting late, please don't feel like I'll be offended if you need to leave, okay? We've got a couple more things to finish off. I want to leave you with a really nice feeling. I always like to do that at the end of this. So bear with me. I'm going to help Cindy, and hopefully you will get a benefit from it as well, okay? So everyone, just tapping on what's left with you, all right? So Cindy, I want you to just close your eyes.
Right.
And I want you to just in your mind recall what you've been told about your family of origin. Your mother, she had a chronic illness and she's died when you're 11. And several of your brothers have chronic illnesses. And just notice, watch this like a movie, and notice what's happening in this family. 8 children. So just watch it like a movie, look around you and just notice what's happening there. And all the ways that your chronic illness bothers you. I think I have these negative thoughts. I don't feel good about myself. I'm so tired all the time. I can't think straight. I put things off all the time. Sleep deprived for 19 years since my 19-year-old child was born. Sleep deprived. And just notice all the ways that that bothers you. All the ways that that bothers you. The worst part about it. The grief, the loss, all this trauma, all this sadness in your life. And just notice how strong that is for you. 0 to 10. What rating would you give that? The worst part about it. How strong is that?
It affects me differently at different times. Like I'm quite
so
calm.
What I want you to do is recall when it affected you the most. Go back to that time when it affected you the most in your mind. Can you do that? And feel what you feel, hear what you hear, see what you see. Notice the smells and the tastes, the colours and images, expressions on faces, tone of the voices. Look around you, notice what's around you. How strong is that now?
Yeah, that's quite strong.
Good job, well done. And now what I want you to do is see it for the last time. Now everyone tapping along. So just open your eyes now, Cindy, and just look up and look down. Look to the right, look to the left, and tapping on the eyebrow point now. All these memories. Just repeat after me, all these memories.
All these memories.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
The grief.
The grief.
The loss.
The loss.
The sadness.
The sadness.
This feeling right there when it was the worst.
Feeling when it was the worst.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
It's no longer real. It's not happening now.
No longer real. It's not happening now.
Side of the eye, everyone. I'm letting it go now.
Can let it go now.
It's in the past.
In the past.
And I'm letting it go.
And letting it go.
All these negative thoughts.
Negative thoughts.
The procrastination.
Procrastination.
Not feeling good about myself.
Not feeling good about myself.
Sleep deprived for 19 years.
Sleep deprived, 19 years.
Just let it go.
Letting it go.
Under the eye, releasing and letting go. Releasing and letting go. You repeat after me, Cindy? Releasing,
yeah.
Releasing and letting go.
Releasing and letting go.
That's okay. Just letting it go now. Wherever I went then, just let it go. On the collarbone.
Let it go.
Letting this all go now. I'm ready to heal this part of me.
Letting it all go, ready to heal this part of me.
And when you are healed, what's your life going to be like, Cindy? What would you rather have?
I would like to be happy.
Like to be happy.
In myself.
In myself. So letting all that unhappiness go now. All the ways I judge myself, all the ways I criticize myself, just letting it go. I just want to feel happy in myself. I forgive myself and I forgive all of those who've hurt me. I'm ready to love and accept myself now, and I'm okay. What else would you rather have? And everyone do the same. Think about what you'd rather have. What else would you rather have? Would you like more energy?
More energy.
Yes. Sleep really well? Sleep soundly all night? Every night?
Not to be disturbed.
What does that mean? What's the opposite of that, not to be disturbed?
Yes.
Undisturbed sleep.
Oh. I love my sleep.
Love my sleep. Undisturbed sleep. And would you like to be regenerated and rejuvenated when you wake up? Refreshed and energized?
I can't remember the last time I felt like.
Well, you can now. So I want you to start imagining it now, all right? Because it is possible to have that. I have that every day. I had 17 years of insomnia, and now I sleep soundly and I have energy. I bounce out of bed every day. Is that possible for you? Would you like that?
I would like that, okay. Yeah.
If you like it, you can have it. All right? You can have anything you want, in fact. If you do this work, you can have anything that you want. That is possible. Do you believe that?
I would like to, yes.
Okay, so we'll work on that belief a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Take a deep breath in. Little puppy dog. Hello, puppy. Take a deep breath in and blow it out. Hold your wrist, everyone. Go to your peaceful place. Feel that peaceful place inside of you. Notice how good it feels. And Cindy, what I'd like you to do is send that feeling inside of you. Can you describe your peaceful place?
No, I can't, not really.
Can you imagine it?
I imagined it would be nice and warm and comforting and snuggly.
Yes. And how does that feel? Warm, snuggly, comforting?
Feels like I'm on a deck chair in the sun.
Lovely, relaxed with the warmth on your sun, from the sun. And just notice that. And what I want you to do is I want you to send that to that little girl who lost her mother. Send it to her back then when she was 11. And watch her receive it. She's sending it back to you. And what I want you to do is, can you call her over to you, that little girl? Can you call her over? Does she come?
No.
Having difficulty, aren't you? Yes. What was getting in the way?
I don't know. There might be a barrier there or something, just not letting me.
So what I want everyone to understand here is that everything that you're doing inside of you is you, okay? So if you're thinking about your dad, he can't fit in your head, right? Whatever you're working on, it's all you, inside of you, okay? So when Cindy does this, and in her imagination, in her mind, the child won't come to her, there's something getting in the way, isn't there? Yeah. Just have a think about that. What does that feel like? That could be. Oh, he wants to come to you, that puppy dog.
She has no problems.
How lovely. How lovely. So in your mind,
maybe I should have been thinking of her passing it.
That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So think about how you feel with your puppy dog now. Okay. And see yourself as the 11-year-old girl and send that to her. Send that feeling there. Because puppy dogs are just complete unconditional love, aren't they? Yeah?
Definitely. Yeah.
Complete unconditional love. They never judge you. Doesn't matter how you treat them. They still just love you completely unconditionally. And they're fun, aren't they? They're just so much fun and loving. They give us so much. So send that to that little girl there. Can you see her receiving that? Maybe you can send your puppy dog over to her. Can you do that?
I just don't seem to be able to relax into it. Like,
can you imagine it?
I can imagine it.
Yes, go ahead and do that. Just imagine it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Now can you call her over to you and give her a hug? Still hard?
So,
Hey?
yeah, I want to, but
All right. You've got children? You said you've been sleep deprived for 19 years.
Yeah.
So you have
Not
children.
ongoing.
Have you hugged your children?
Yes, but not recently. We're not allowed.
No, none of us are we? But I want
No.
you to remember when you hugged your children.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So just do that, and now see that this is the little you. Okay.
Yeah.
Got that? That's easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, can you give her a hug?
Yeah.
Good. And now whisper in her ear what you've been waiting to hear. And listen carefully as she has some messages for you. And now hold her tight and squeeze her just like you hug your children. And you're going to do that when this is all over, right? Give them the biggest hug ever. Squeeze them so tight that you can feel her drifting inside of you all the way. Right there, she's in your heart. And put your hand on your chest and feel her drifting inside of you. And she's right there. Good job. And take a deep breath in and blow it out. And say peace.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Well done, well done. Okay, so open your eyes.
Oh, my puppy dog's gone.
Oh, well done. So, there's a lot of resistance there. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of hurt there. But just by doing that little exercise, we call that integration in Fast EFT. And just by doing that little exercise can help you to just start feeling a bit better about yourself. Okay? Feeling a little bit gentler, more loving to yourself. Love yourself like that dog loves you. Can you do that? Yeah? That's the ultimate for all of us, isn't it? To love ourselves like our pets love us. And today is Global Love Day, right?
It is.
So let's do some loving.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to finish up now. And I just wondered whether anyone has any questions. I just unmute yourself. Anyone have any questions, any queries, any feedback, anything that you'd like to share with us? No, you're all going to be quiet.
Lolita, when we do the inner child stuff, how does that, is it tricking your brain into thinking like when you were hurt, when you were younger? Does it, I don't know, how does it relate to now? Like how does going back to that place help you now?
Because really all our problems, everything that we face now in the present, it started back then. Okay? So as much as you can, making peace with that inner child who was hurt, who was neglected, who was abandoned, where there was grief, loss, anything else. So much happens in those first 7 years of our life. And that's where the brain sets everything up, right? It sets you up for how you think about yourself in that early childhood period of time. It's becomes your view of the world. How safe is the world out there for that child? Will stay with you, okay? And what your programming is, what your patterns, what your beliefs are, your attitudes, your personality is all developed in those first early years. So the more you can address your present problem, link it to the past whenever you can, and do that integration, making peace with that child. And it's amazing what the brain, the messages the brain will give you. So I'm not sure, Cindy, what messages you received, but when I ask clients, the most astounding things come to them when you ask them, what message did you receive? What gift did you receive? It's like the brain has it already there. It already has that information there, but it's just been completely clouded over by all the things that have gone wrong for us, all the things that have happened to us. It is there in the brain. The brain's recorded it. So it's like people say to me, no, I don't have any happy memories. And once we do this work, they do have happy memories. They come to the surface, the prefrontal cortex. When the stresses and everything are reduced, then that comes online and you find those happy memories. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
The more you can do it, the better. You know, I often do it when I'm tapping on myself. I just do that little process because I love it. It feels so good.
Because I did find a big difference between normal tapping and this tapping was that, bringing that inner child thing, and it does a bigger relief. It creates a bigger relief at the end of the session, or
a real sense of peace. Yeah. I try and do that in every session that I have with someone when I have a full 2-hour session. Even if I've been doing a lot of my 30-minute turbo tapping sessions this week, helping people release a lot of their stresses and their anxieties. And I even do it then. You can do it in a half hour tapping on yourself. I've done it in 15 minutes of tapping with someone, integrated the child. You know, you can do it very quickly. So one of the things I wanted to say to everyone tonight is I had this freebie I wanted to offer. So as I'm doing my courses, there's a lot of processes that I want to teach people to do, to show them to do. Like the integration is one of them, like how to tap on your pain symptoms, and a whole heap of other processes. What I love to do in my work as a self-empowerment coach is I like to help people refine their tapping. So I've worked with a lot of practitioners who've been tapping for a long time even, and they struggle with tapping on themselves. And I help them to get really good at tapping on themselves, okay? So what I'm offering tonight is I need people who are not shy on camera, who are okay to be videoed, and it'll be just you and me together on Zoom, and you choose something that I can help you with. It may be that integration, it may be, a pain, or whatever it is, but I would like to offer a free 30-minute session to anyone or several of you, as many of you as possible, if you're willing to do that with me. Okay, so you can message me, you can email me, you can contact me on Facebook, whatever way, but just let me know. And what I will do is in my email, I'll list all the videos that I'm going to need to make, okay? And so I'll outline them, and you can just choose one of those that you would like to do with me. And you'll have an opportunity to make a change, you know, for free. All right. How does that sound? Anyone? Is that pretty good? I'm very generous with my time, and I'm very generous with